All right, so while we're not going to become an all best deck stream anytime soon, I have put variations of most of the tiered decks in Historic up on my website in the Proven category. So I'm going to try and make a point to like sprinkle in playing each of them at least once so I could have a video embedded up there of me playing them. So this is Black-White Auras, which I think at different points before Strixhaven you could have made the argument was one of the best decks in the format. For people that aren't familiar with it, we have Sram, Senior Edificer here, as well as Kor Spiritdancer, which both let you draw cards when you cast aura spells. And then we have a bunch of aura spells. We've got Kaya's Ghostform to keep our things alive. We've got Sentinel to cast and recast. We've got Cartouche. And then something else to note, too, that I think enough people don't quite appreciate about this archetype is this deck actually tends to be pretty interactive. You've got Thoughtseize to disrupt your opponent's hand, but then you also have tools like Deadweight, Heliod's Punishment, and Mogis' Favor that allow you to actually interact with what your opponent is going on as well, while these generate card advantage while doing so. We also have Hateful Eidolon here that says whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card for each aura you controlled attached to it, which means when you kill your opponent's thing with Deadweight or Mogis, you actually get to draw a card off of Hateful Eidolon. So one thing I've chosen to do with this build is you'll note I'm playing a bunch of favors in the main with my extra Deadweights and Mire's graphs in the board. And this is a nod towards the fact that Pact combo is one of the better decks in the format right now. So Mogis' Favor can still be used to kill things like Land War Elves on the opposing side of the board, but this is also a card that makes our creature threats be able to hit harder against the control and the combo decks of the format when we're looking to race. So this is like a almost dead weight that also lets our creatures attack more, which is great against the matchups where you're just looking to go quick. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with auras here and see if we can highlight this one a little bit here today. Curious Bookworm, good morning and thanks for the follow. Yeah, this deck isn't running all that glitters anymore. So previously, this archetype went through a lot of iterations pre-Strixhaven, and there were previously more all-in builds that were looking to simply, like, play the dog that gives something indestructible and play cards like all that glitters and, like, go all in and just be a linear aggro deck. And this build and a lot of the builds that the better players had settled on are really more mid-range value decks than just pure linear aggro decks. Am I keeping this on the draw? I feel like the answer is no. I like need to draw exactly a black source or a white source. This is fine. Soul Tie Energy, you have my attention. Glint Sleeve. Glint Sleeve's a card I love. Borrower. Really aggressive use of Borrower against my deck where this card's pretty powerful. No blocks. 14. Do I want to draw a card? What kind of stupid question is that, Magic Arena? Of course I want to draw a card. So do we Ghostform plus Hateful Eidolon to ensure against removal? Probably, right? Their deck looks pretty interactive. And then next turn we could do this. Ooh, misplay on my part. Should have cast this before I played my land, because then I could have played this Courtyard as a fast land. Gonna be short a mana next turn because of my improper sequencing. Or maybe not this turn, but at some point. And, like, even if they murder my Spiritdancer here in response to my thing, like, I still drew 2 cards. A pretty decent exchange for us. Collected Company energy. Wait, are these all rogues? They're playing Coco rogues? That's really interesting. Okay. Can dig it. Golly go. Thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Thanks for the Jet-Sky turns list. It's so good for me. It's literally perfect. I'm glad you're loving it. It's definitely one of my favorites. Hi Shin, thanks for the follow. Good morning. I never realized Rogue Refiner was a rogue. I mean, our opponent hasn't really played non-creatures. I'm gonna start powering up Hateful Eidolon here, so that way I can lifelink a little bit. It's not a rogue, but it's synergized with their flash stuff, and it's another creature hit. Hey, Greg, thank you for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. one. Pretty unlucky here. Have to discard the hand size. It's a quarter of your paint bucket. Welcome back. Good morning. Wonder how often Aura's decks itself. Yeah, now probably a non-zero amount, honestly. Yes, yeah, my land missequencing ended up not mattering is accurate. Now, these draws aren't optional, so I probably want... Okay, so are they dead? This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then this gives me +2/+2, so they should be dead, right? I play this for black. Because I could dead weight this. I could Mogis' favor this, and they don't have any more blockers here. This game just really highlights the power of this archetype. Like, if the people aren't answering your spirit dancers, they're generally speaking not winning the game. You just like your engine is just so powerful. Yeah, Borrower can't block. It only blocks things with flying. Yeah, like people often compare this deck that we're playing to Bogles, and comparing this deck to modern Bogles is actually a really unfair comparison in my opinion, because the power level of this deck isn't that your opponent can't interact with you. The power level of this deck is that you have a ton of things that generate card advantage. And, like, we're boarding into a bunch of removal spells here, basically. Yeah, Bogles plays Kor Spiritdancer in a lot of iterations, but it's not really a Spirit Dancer deck. This deck, Bogles is a Bogles deck, not a Spirit Dancer deck. This is a Spirit Dancer deck. We're basically playing 8 Spirit Dancers. Alright, how do I want to sideboard here? Is it crazy? I think I want to just cut the Thoughtseizes, huh? I know they were like okay that game, but I think I just want all my cards that play to the board, right? My opponent's likely a 4 Brazen Borrower deck, and they have Murderous Rider, but that's probably close to it. Is it crazy to cut my Kaya's Ghostforms here? Would I rather have Ghostform or Claim? I feel like I'm inclined to say I'd rather have Claim. I think they bring in more removal. That's fair. Control Angelic Gift. Let's do that. They have flyers anyways. Their better creatures are flyers. I can kill most of their stuff anyways rather than evade over it. Okay, so I'm gonna Mire's Grasp this one, because it's resource efficient, and then hopefully we draw an untapped land next turn and get to go, like, Spiritdancer into Deadweight. And then even if they have a removal spell here, because I'm casting Deadweight, really? They're playing Drown in the lock? Huh. That must be like their one... This must be like their one non-creature card, huh? Usually you could afford like one. Usually you could afford like one. What's it called? Like that. And again, like this is the power of our archetype. We get to bring this back now, and then we get to Mire's Grasp this and draw 2 cards. Rude. Guess I'll murder your thing then. Yeah, and we still have Lurrus to boot here, right? Like even if they somehow find their way out of what's going on here, like we still have Lurrus left over. This card should not be legal in this format. This deck and decks like Rogues are still like really good, powerful decks without it. And they just like shouldn't get to play this extra thing on top of everything else. It's very silly. Yeah, Lurrus really should have said your deck can't have converted mana cost things over 2. It should have been templated like the one that goes big. If it like locked you out of playing things like Agdom's Awakening and things like that, it might almost be reasonable. But as is, it's just really not okay. Kruga, yeah. Yeah, similar to Kruga. Like, even here, right? Like, Brazen Borrower is usually one of their better cards, but like, alright, you bounced my thing, and you put my Sentinel's Eyes in the bin, so like, you saved yourself some damage, but you actually just drew me a card in the long term. Yeah, I agree, Jake. It's funny, one of the best things I ever heard about Lurrus is that Lurrus's companion restriction actually makes people build better decks because it forces them to not be able to play their shitty pet cards that cost 3, 4, and 5 mana. Because it's obvious that Lurrus is what you should be playing. So, Lurrus, by the virtue of its requirement, forces you to play better Magic, basically. Look at all these toys, chat. It got banned there outright now, right? Lurrus is legacy legal, right? Anybody correct me there? I believe Lurrus is legacy legal. It was, and it's been unbanned in Vintage. Yeah, they unbanned it with the rule change in Vintage. It's currently banned in Legacy. Okay. Lurrus plus Ghostform is very silly, yeah. Alright, sweet. Excellent first game there in terms of showcasing the power of the Aura's deck. This is Jeff's version of selling out. To be fair, everything we do on this channel's been sellout decks for the last couple of weeks now. We've had a pretty steady flow of viewer submissions. This is a viewer submission for the record. Someone donated for this one. But I am intending, when the viewer submissions eventually slow down, to get to all of the tier 1 decks on my website at least once. Because I would ideally like a video for every deck page on my website. That way people can see not only my current deck list, but also get a feel for what gameplay with every given archetype looks like. Scavangling Ooze. I'm gonna lead on Sram here, because I'd rather he die than Kor Spiritdancer die. MTGCB, thanks for the follow. What do you think of the Dragon Reanimator in the forward? I think it's fine. I think it's got good interactive, disruptive tools. Yeah, it's occasionally been putting up results, Maka, but it has mostly fallen off. I don't have every tier 1 deck up there. Like, I think that deck probably still belongs up there. I don't currently have that one up there, no. How does Ghostform interact with Rest in Peace? The way the Ghostform player wants it to. Ah, yes. The classic Gruul Spellbreaker with haste, no attacks. Tried and true. Land War Elves it is, chat. Land War Elves it is. Ah! Shoulda believed in the seas, chat. Shoulda believed in the seas. I mean, this attack's not even good, right? Oh, you know, I'm probably supposed to kill the scavenging use guaranteed is what I'm supposed to do. Can I kill them? I might be able to kill them here, right? $11, $12, $13, $14, $15, $16, $17, right? That's lethal? Is playing good decks is like? This is weird. That's what is what the other half lives like? Risu, thanks for the year and a half. The mutate deck is crying in the corner. Yeah, basically. We're gonna cut the Thoughtseizes, bring in all these cards that play to the board. Jeff, winning is boring. We need more mutate decks. I don't like what I'm feeling with this deck. Yeah. Chat holds me. I don't like who I'm becoming. I'm subbing if you hit Mythic before noon. We're only doing 90 minutes with the deck still. Still only gonna be a 90-minute session, champ. Okay, you know what's great, chat? Murdering the Llanowar Elves. Get it out of here. Listen, chat, our current opponent is playing Gruul. Don't talk to me about their fun, okay? I don't want to hear it. I promise we're gonna play red-white mid-range after this. This is a shorter YouTube video, but it's different than all the other shorter videos. It's funny because it's true. Alright, so they have a stomp. So I think we're going Sram into Mogis' favor on here. I just got here, and this doesn't look like a meme deck. It looks like one of those spike decks. Who screwed this up? I'm scared and confused. Oh no, I don't know what's going on. It's a shame this is a bolt land. Yeah, I think this is the line. Plays around Questing Beast a little bit. Also keeps him off of Embercleave. Oh, I get to untap with Lurrus. Well, that seems good for me. Alright, so this game's over. For those of you that normally play bad decks like me, this is how the other half lives, by the way. Have you felt how easy these games have been? Just be aware that you work way harder for your supper than most people do. We might never go back. This isn't even Magic, it's just ladder climbing. This deck stuffs Scroll, for sure. And I'd like the record to reflect that we've beaten rogues and ghouls so far today, so like... I wouldn't call us a hero, but I'm not sure that we're necessarily the villain. Oh no! They're playing Sultai Planeswalkers, and I'm playing Auras! Oh, shit! I've become the thing I hate. Oh, shit. I'm the bad man. Duh. And I had the double discard spell opener. Man. Crackpipe Kid, thanks for 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Meow. Yeah, I actually kind of don't think it is, right? I just get to cantrip these. I like do this, and then I do this. Got me. Washington. Thank you for the 1.5 years. Welcome back. Loved the Grixis NSFW video the other day. Oh, you know. Good things come to those who Grixis. Honestly, Jeff, I can see the glow in your eyes when you rip your opponent apart with this. Don't try and make us think you're not enjoying it. Yeah. And this is actually a good example of why I'm only playing 2 deadweights in my main and I'm playing 3 Mogis' favors. Because deadweight, or Mogis' favor is much, much better in spots like this. The fact that these are fully dead is, it's not great.
I can be your mentor.
It's not a good look.
If your mind is willing. The future is not yet decided. Excellent.
This is the way they drive the boat, drive the boat, drive the boat. Do 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 do. Yeah, we're actually super done at the moment. We're actually very dead. This didn't draw any pressure. They get to memory with our set next turn and draw a bunch of cards. So bring in some Duresses, bring in some Demonic Vigors, bring in a Go Blank, bring in a Fracture. Sounds good. Yeah, we had the double discard spell, but we didn't have any pressure to follow it up. Sometimes that happens. A little bit of wrong half problem there too. Again, our deck isn't a purely linear deck, right? Like, our deck is a mid-range deck that uses auras as a card advantage engine. So like, sometimes your opponent's playing a control deck and you draw your main deck removal spells, you just like are down cards because of it. Occasionally we'll have the ability to power through it, but not always. Yeah, if you don't have any threats, you should generally speaking mulligan for a creature JW, but it's pretty far from a requirement if you have other things. Like that other hand that I kept had Hateful Eidolon, Thoughtseize, and like land, so I'm pretty sure that's plenty keepable. Yeah, the Sultai Planeswalker deck the opponent is playing is really sweet. We played with it for like 2 hours yesterday, ended up putting it on my website afterwards. Really like what it's doing. So it feels bad that they're gonna get a chance to kill this before I draw a card, but it's also like not safe in my hand. Like I could get Inquisitioned or Thoughtseized, or my opponent could memory lapse it next turn, so. Make sure the Sultai Friends deck, a control deck. Yeah, definitely. Yep, see exactly why we played the Spiritdancer out. And you see, for those of you taking notes at home, you'll want to note that I very carefully left my Kaya's Ghostform on top of the deck where it wasn't exposed to Inquisition of Kozilek. It's a really important skill to develop for playing in Historic in general, is being able to leave your key cards in the very top of your deck, so that way they're not exposed in your hand to discard spells. Yeah, Brainstorm is training wheels, so if you're not lucky enough. Mono fire on top of the deck this game. Speaking of mono fire, Thrilled Mystic see play in Historic? It does not. And then they want to kill my Spirit Dancers, not my Hateful Eidolon. So I think we target the Hateful Eidolon here. I think we're actually in an okay spot to grind here, Voltaic. Kinda needed an aura there. But we took, this is why we took their sweeper. Think they should unban fires? I do. In fact, if you check out my recent top 5 video set, you will see my feelings on all sorts of cards I think they should be unbanned. So this one's gonna take memory, and then we're gonna Lurrus, cast Sentinelize, draw 3. We're gonna take the commit, because I don't want them to commit this. I want to draw cards this turn. So, like, yeah, they can get rid of this, but, like, if I draw, like, another aura here, I'm gonna draw a bunch of cards. Sure, or a Thoughtseize. Okay, take your Assassin's Trophy. And then just, like, any enchantment here, and we just, like, go right to work, right? Good chance they die here. Yeah, and that's lethal, right? Yeah, like the person who said we looked at their hand earlier, Voltaic, and they'd low-key escape there. Like, that underestimates the power of this archetype. Like, the amount of staying power we have from a position like that is incredible. Yeah, you can't just have spot removal. Like, the last game we lost because we didn't have any of our engine cards, and they had something like Narset on board locking us out. Narset is actually very good in this matchup. She's super strong against what our deck is looking to do. What's going on, Tongspeed? Remember, if you want an extra way to get notifications of when I'm streaming different things, in the subs Discord, there are roles you can self-assign that I ping whenever I go live with Arena or Variety or other stuff. So, for example, if you're enjoying the BioShock playthrough we're doing in the afternoons, I can give you a tag in the Discord when we switch over to BioShock. So it's close to the same time, but not exactly the same time every day. I think it's just Baleful Mastery, huh? There are not tags for specific deck lists. My decks require 3 to 4 synergy pieces, no interaction from the opponents. I don't understand this staying power thing. Oh. Sure. This is slightly safer in my hand for this turn. We'll see, though. Smaller diamond is further away from mythics. This is the smallest that symbol gets. But listen, chat, it's not the size of the diamond, it's how you use it. Wow, and then they have exiled all of our stuff here at this point. So they get to cantrip their thing here, but then if they draw another thing I can take, I get to take it. So like, hopefully they draw a Planeswalker here. They did top 2 removal spells in a row. They did take the advice of putting the important cards on top. Stream Daddy Gaming. Good morning and welcome to the channel.
You may
Okay.
any time.
Kling's a very good Magic card, for sure.
Focus on the future.
And this Hardicaran beats us down relatively quickly.
Potential.
We're at 13. Bottom. You love to see it, chat.
Is not yet decided.
Brick by Glorious Brick.
Now, show me your real power.
Only 3 cards in their bin here. How good is your mystery card, opponent?
Study
Not
hard, and one
particularly
day
good.
you will rival your
Opponent perhaps
teacher.
making a mistake. Maybe should have captured that last one for a fractal.
Focus on the future.
This week's announcements, all the websites doing HA5 spoilers. Sweet. Does it include, are we going to get more today then? Does it list the days? Hey, Weevos, thanks for the 23 months. Welcome back. May 6th, May 10th, May 11th, May 12th, May 13th, May 14th. Okay, sweet. So we're going to get them all in a row every day until Friday. Fantastic. It's for the follow, Zuck. Yeah, usually they were posting about 45 minutes from now, based on the days yesterday. It's fine to root for my opponent here. I'm rooting for my opponent a little bit too, if I'm being honest. Yeah, hopefully we see a command each day. That would be great. If we get another cons command today, I would assume we're gonna get all 5 of them. Well, they wouldn't have traded for Lurrus. I have a Ghostform lamped in. This is my kitty. Lurrus with Ghostform is a big part of what makes this deck so toxic. It's very good. K command is good. I expect Dramoka's command to see play. I wouldn't be surprised if Ojutai's command sees play. Atarka's command will probably be good too. It's a good aggro card. I feel like Terminate would be too efficient, unconditional. Nah, Terminate's fine. I'm not even sure Terminate's playable, if I'm being honest. Renin Strix be too powerful for Historic. Same comment on that one. A bunch of people asked, I didn't include Renin 6 in my top 5 Planeswalker video. And people are like, oh, do you think Renin 6 would be too busted and that's why you didn't include him? I didn't include Renin 6 in my top 5 video because I don't think Renin 6 is likely playable in this format. The card's only really good because of the fetch land formats. Like if it is playable, it would only be playable in the sense that it would only be playable like Brainstorm is, right? Yeah. Like just fine, fringe at best. Being the bad man here, continuing to pay off as we wreck our way up the ladder with our pile of black-white Auras cards. Free rank points! Get your free rank points! How far off of the power level of Historic is Modern? I mean, you can't really measure formats in terms of an ultimate power level. Like these things don't exist inside of vacuums. So like, there are payoffs in Historic that are more powerful than payoffs that exist in Modern in some senses, but also like Brainstorm would be cracked in half in Modern because of fetch lands, but it's just like barely playable here because there's not. It's all contextual. I'm gonna keep this in bottom Eidolon. We can go Thoughtseize into this, then we have like an enchantment to pump this up, and then Heliod's to interact if they're a creature deck. I actually can't cast either of these Narsets currently. Hey, thanks, Sevilla. Yeah, I think it's just Ritual Set, right? Once they have 2 Narsets. I mean, Deathrite Shaman is coming to Historic. Like, what's it called? Is Deathrite Shaman's Pioneer legal and just doesn't see play there. I mean, this is like just a one-mana cantrip on this card, right? I'm not doing anything else with it. Is Valakut legal in Pioneer? It is not. Cast divination.
My prowess is the thoughtfulness before action.
Mogis' favor here, showing off why I'm playing it over Deadweight, explicitly for these controlling
I
matchups.
shall miss your company.
We've now drawn 3 of my 4 cards I'm boarding out in this matchup, and all 2 Heliod's punishments and a Deadweight. I'm still just kind of like making progress, plowing through here. Are those good draws? If so, why? Please explain. Yeah, like, this deck gets a rap of being this deck is real. This is another deck that, similar to Rogues, I hear a lot of complaints about this deck that are clearly coming from people that don't understand why this deck is good. I agree that this deck is kind of toxic in a lot of ways with what Ghostform does, but this deck's toxic because it generates card advantage and is interactive. It's not because it's just like this linear deck that ignores you. This is my preferred iteration of this archetype, Drunk Owl. I might have missed lethal here.
I still have much to learn.
Ghostform is the claim the firstborn of this deck. It's the toxic element of an otherwise kind of interesting archetype.
This isn't a fight. You need to slow down. This is hardly my worst.
Yeah, and like my opponent's played a ton of removal this game, and I still just like haven't even used Lurrus yet. Gosh, look at how unlucky we are. We have to discard 2 cards to hand size. It's pretty unfortunate. Oh no, not Extinction Event! Oh no, how will I ever... Oh wait, never mind, JK. This is the way we draw the cards, draw the cards, draw the cards. This is the way we draw the cards. Okay, whose emote is the 1043A? Aspiring Spikes? That's great. That's fantastic. I don't know about you, chat, but I'm feeling about 22. So we cut the dead weights and the Heliod's punishments and the angelic gifts. We bring in some vigors as extra ways to play through the removal and some discard spells. For people that aren't paper boomers, 1043A is the rule in the Magic Rules Compendium that states a player may concede at any point. Pretty good hand. Guess they technically need to draw some lands. Hider, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Wait, you've been here before, right? Or is that a different Hider? I feel like I recognize that username. Nope, someone brand new. Probably Hider's kind of a generic name, I suppose. Do I Sentinelize the 1/1? I'm just gonna chill in case we draw one of our things that draws cards for us. It's very possible that some of the basics in this deck should be like red, white, and red, black pathways to occasionally cast the Fame side of this card. How'd you make the decision to take Lapse with their discard spell? Because my hand needed to draw new spells to win the game. And they had 2 copies of Narset. Like, Narset's the card I wanted to take, but they had 2 copies of it. A Sacred over a Plane seems kind of free. It's not. You have to take damage for that. But Pathways are basically free. Pathways are more free than Shocklands. Because Pathways can basically just be Plains or Swamp if you don't need the other thing. Pathways don't turn on your checklands. Oh, that's true. We do have... How many checklands are we playing, though? That's true. We do have, like, a checkland, right? I think it's 1. I think not turning on your 1 checkland. Yeah, honestly, you could probably cut the Isolated Chapel. Not turning on your 1 checkland is less of a drawback than the alternative, in my opinion. Wasn't enchanting the token with the extra cantrip with the flashback or better in case of removal? No. If they kill this, I draw a card. Okay, so I think we actually take Extinction Event here, right? Because if they want a Ritual of Soot this board, I draw a bunch of cards, and this comes back. Yeah, opponent must be... The fact that they're playing Ritual of Soot and Extinction Event instead of Wrath of God, they must be like blue-black control splash Teferi, would be my assumption. They're base blue-black without a lot of white.
If you wish to surrender now, I understand.
I just attack them. I just attack them. Well, I can't kill the Narset either way, chat. Like, if I could kill the Narset, that would be a consideration, but, like, they have a creature in play. So, like, killing Narset isn't a thing I have the option to do. I agree that in general, sweepers aren't great in this format. Any reasons for no fatal pushes? Yeah. We don't really care about their big things. We can block them or make our own big thing to get in front of them. And Mire's Grasp is castable with Lurrus, and it triggers our 12 enchantment things. So yeah, I think playing Fatal Push over the cards that synergize the rest of my powerful cards is a huge mistake. But I'm basically just treading water here. Yeah, but like decks that can play sweepers against angels usually don't care about their life total. Like Esper Control or Blue White or whatever, for example, they don't care if the angels player is at 30 or 3, right? Like, that's not what the game is about. A demonic vigor is like, they won't let us play 6 copies of...
But you know what?
What? Okay, so they have a piece of spot removal here? So... I'm putting them on a piece of spot removal here. This kills them, though, if we put it on the token. Is that true? Does they kill either of those? Yeah, good catch. Good catch. I was so focused that I could only put these on my other things to make them bigger, but yeah, this is lethal. There isn't like a lightning helix in their deck. Right? Yeah, good catch. Okay. I'm gonna be done with this one. Not because it's bad or disappointing, but because I feel kind of bad. We've been farming nerds for over an hour now, and this deck's really good. If you're looking to play a sweet competitive tier 1, if you're looking to play a tier 1 deck that draws a lot of cards, this is probably the tier 1 deck that draws the most cards in the format. And I was gonna pull it up and talk about some of my decisions here during a wrap-up segment, but apparently we're currently waiting for our server, so that's not an option. I like a lot of the card decisions I made with this specific build of black-white auras really felt like they played out well in practice in this set. The slightly less dead weights and other pieces of creature interaction while playing more copies of Mogis' favor main felt really good. The mix of things out of the sideboard with the Duresses and the Go Blanket the Fracture felt reasonable against the control decks. Honestly, one change I might make after seeing how those games played out is this Go Blank's probably silly, and I'm going to put a second Fracture in the sideboard. Narset is just like low-key one of the best cards in the... Narset's just like low-key one of the best cards against this archetype out of the control decks. Just like having a 2-mana kill target planeswalker that also has utility in other spots seems really good. Fracture's another way for us to take random things like Rest in Pieces and Grafdigger's Cages off the table too in the post-board games, so... I don't know if I want the red pathways or not. We talked about it, but like... The isolated, you could give up the isolated chapel for red pathways, I suppose, but I don't think I'm gonna recommend that. It's like mostly free. I don't think I'd play Inspiring Vantage or this deck often wants lands like 4, 5, and 6 coming into play untapped. That's like spending a ton of mana. I think if you wanted to like turn this into, you know, another black source or white source, then play a bunch of pathways, you could do that. There's also like merit to like having some basics against fielded and stuff. Now, you don't want to play a tapped land in this deck. Stop it. It's a low curve deck that's playing, you know, we have 19, but we have 21 lands with these two. You want your lands to be untapped. You want to be playing on curve. You want to be using all of your mana every turn. Yeah, I know. You definitely, this deck's really good at using its mana. And another thing to recognize too is like, there aren't a lot of colorless sources in the deck. Stop it. I think shocks are bad. I think you probably don't need red mana. I think if you were going to play red mana, it would be Pathways. People really undervalue how important their life total is, and how one of the reasons why this deck is good is because it doesn't murder itself with its mana base. So again, if you wanted those, I would cut this and I would play red Pathways here, but there's also value. There's also value in just having better, more consistent mana and having basics for random people that have trophies and other stuff like that. So, trophies and field runes.